We build new construction and mixed-use developments and also adaptive reuses. We do this by taking low-income housing tax credits that we get from the government and then we sell them to equity investors. This allows us to build affordable housing. We do this throughout a few states, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, Indiana. We're expanding out to Maryland and New Jersey, New York now, so I'm pretty excited about that. We typically build anywhere from about 50 to about 300 units and add about 10,000 square foot of commercial space. We like to pride ourselves as the social determinants of health developers. So when we develop, we're not just looking just to build buildings and put up, just storage facilities. But we really have like 5, components of development: economic mobility, access to quality food, access to healthcare, social relational capital, and neighborhood and physical environment. So every neighborhood we go into in these different states, we add those elements into the overall development. That also helps private, public government. We partner a lot with, like I said, private equity investors, like some of our favorites, like National Equity Fund out of New York, CRE out of New York, Goldman Sachs we partner with. That's a few other equity investors we like to partner with, but we partner with those guys. Insurance companies, they buy tax credits from us. And do these deals, it take a little while to do. It can take anywhere from a year to 2 years to kind of go from here's my site to getting the building, constructed and operated. We started this about 8 years ago. Actually grew pretty fast. Just surprising how fast we've been able to grow. And part of our growth out of the country been with faith-based organizations. A lot of faith-based organizations have land. We partner with faith-based organizations out the country, out the state of Wisconsin, and they donate their land, to the development. We give them part of the development fees, cash flow, equity, and partner with the faith-based. It's estimated that faith-based organizations own about 30 million square foot of land across the country. So that's like the second most behind the government. So it's really another opportunity in the affordable housing space going on across the country right now. Developers are partnering with faith-based organizations. Something else we do too as part of our development, we have a workforce development program where we make sure we hire folks that's unemployed, underemployed in the community, teach them how to do development, teach them how to get into the construction trade. So we're partnering them up with the construction contractor that we work with. And we pre-train them prior to the development starting, just so they can have some knowledge, prior to getting onto the job site. We also have, like I said, our healthcare side. We infuse every unit with telehealth devices, so that way that we bring the healthcare, to the resident, especially for our seniors, right? A lot of times folks might not have cars, or it may be difficult to get to, doctor's appointments or, children's doctor's appointments, so we kind of bring in healthcare. Then we also have a resident wealth creation program. We get every resident $2,000. Then we ask our equity and our lender foundations to match. It's sitting like in a money market account for about 5 years, draws interest, and hopefully after that 5-year period that they can take that money, use it for home down, down payment assistance or maybe some type of certification to increase their income. And as mentioned, we also do adaptive reuse. We actually just closed the first Milwaukee Jewish home last week, so collaboration with the county of Milwaukee, pretty excited about historical tax credits and low-income housing tax credits. Again, we get these tax credits from the government and allows us to build affordable housing. So it's really a unique way to finance these projects. This game been going on since like 1986 when this program was created. And it's funny that these white developers coming into our neighborhoods, building communities, building these projects in our communities and taking all the money out. So we really try to make sure that we stay in the community, make sure we involve the community and stuff like that. But other than that, really just with these projects, we try to collaborate with folks. So we collaborate with people who, other developers or people who are looking to get into development. We collaborate. Again, somebody has a site, come across an opportunity, we love to partner up. And, we think we're very fair with the splits, developers and equity and cash flow. We tend to be very fair with that. So I think there's opportunities, to partner, man. We always looking for that, whether it's Wisconsin, Texas market, huge opportunities out here. So we definitely can partner up. There's opportunities, but I think other than that, I only got too much, with the development, but really want to open up like this for questions or, any comments. And that's kind of just what we, do overall, across these, different states that I mentioned.
What was your first project?
My first project, honestly, was back in, it was a combination. So when I started the Anchor program, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Anchor program. Yeah. I think somebody else. Okay. Probably the Anchor program. But our first project was actually back in, started in 2017 at Villa Commons. It was a combination of like a few of us. Me, I don't know if you guys know Q Elamine, Rafael Garcia, and Alex Walker. He lives in Charlotte now, but we were teamed up to do a development back in 2017. That was actually the first one that we did, and from there it just kept going. Once you do the first one, it's kind of easy. After that, now you go to the game, you understand how to get the financing. It's pretty easy after that. It allows you to just be able to move, very quickly though. But yeah, back in 2017, and it's funny how 9 years later, whatever, it's just been flipping them out, one by one, or we tend to try to move 4 or 5 at a time, at a time throughout the year, just really you got the capital, pre-development capital behind, like you mentioned, we take out pre-development capital from, our equity investors and, borrow money to get these projects, done. It costs about $500,000 or so per project to get them from site to construction. A lot of times, we use a pre-development capital, to pay for that. But if the project don't close, we have not, we haven't, had an incident where we haven't closed anything yet. But it is a lot of risk in development, and people that got divorced and in development, people lost houses, but so it's definitely a risky, business though. But definitely I love it, and I said it's time to keep going.
Can you tell us how you got into development?
Yeah, so my background is as a construction science and management. So I went to school for that. Did construction for about 10 years. Had the opportunity to work around the country, and came back to Milwaukee in about 2014. Was working at Findorf for a couple of years, and then started to kind of get into real estate. We were flipping houses, things like that. It just made sense to take that construction knowledge and move it to the development side. So that's how we really got going. And most people who I found out who come into development, they come from all different backgrounds, man. Like dropouts, high school diplomas, history majors. I've met all type of developers that come from all different types of backgrounds. So anybody can get in development, honestly. And I think the easiest way to get into development is partnering with somebody that's already doing development. That's the fastest way to get going in development.
And because I've known you for a while, even before Edgar, and so y'all really been flipping them out. So how do you keep deals moving so that you don't have a delay? Because it seems like as soon as y'all finish one, you got another one rolling. So how do you man. Keep that momentum?
Yeah, tell you the truth, even when we find one, we be looking for the next one. That's developer. I say make your money, through these, deals, man. So at times you're doing just one deal at a time. So we try to move 5 deals at a time. So once we kind of find our 5, we get to move them forward. We looking for the next 5. Just keep them going because they come right behind one another. As a developer, man, if you missing a year, you making no money that year. So we try to keep them coming, man. And we pretty good at finding sites, man. We got systems to find sites, and we always seem to find stuff.
So with the development, are you doing mostly the bigger buildings, like the Villa Commons? I remember when they first put them up. Yeah. I definitely remember that project. Is it more so that, right now, if you go on Garfield, 25th, 24th, 26th Street, right now, I think Habitat in another program is over there doing a lot of duplexes and single family. It's just not, but I know it's not Habitat alone, but they doing, it's another group over there doing some affordable housing over there. Do y'all do them kind of projects as well?
Yeah, we haven't done the single families or duplexes yet, but we are teaming up with Metcalf Park Community Bridges. So they have about 80 lots in their neighborhood, just like the Metcalf neighborhood. So they want to team up and do something like that. So we're going to submit that next year for tax credits. So that'll be our first time, but before that, it's just really been just mixed use developments.
If you could do anything, would you duplicate yourself? Would you duplicate someone that can think like you and also work in conjunction with you?
So that's a good question, man. You really duplicate. I said, but I realized you don't have to be a large development firm. When we first got in, I thought you had 50, 60 people. And I started meeting with the other firms. That's big, a lot of firms. They had 6, 7, 8 people, in their staff, and use a lot of different consultants. But that's a good question. Definitely duplicate myself for sure, just so it can kind of, free me up to focus on just raising money and stuff like that. But we make it work. But that's definitely a good question. We definitely duplicate myself. I found somebody out of New York, man. So he's working pretty well right now. A little guy went to Columbia, man. He's pretty smart guy, man. So that's kind of.
I just figure your stress level is a little bit different, a little bit bigger type projects. But I need to hear that from you versus want to be like.
No, you know what? This is what I'm saying. It's the people, man. It's never the work, man. It's always, I think, any industry, it's the people. You're dealing with architects, lawyers, contractors, federal government, city, local, state government, dealing with all that. And I think maybe the most, frustrating part is the red tape, dealing with government, just to work through all that red tape. Some states are a little bit easier to work with, but for instance, Milwaukee, it takes, you kind of got to play around in Milwaukee a little bit to get through the red tape, though. But, we figure out how to make it work.
You said the pre-development budget for one of the projects was about $500,000, cost about $600,000. Dude, you and your partners, is that funded through personally or y'all, these exit investors y'all have, they provide all the funding?
Yeah, so it's like a two-part. So prior to so once you find a site and submit to the tax credit application, it costs about $30,000 to $50,000 per site. Nobody wants to give you a pre-development loan prior to then because you kind of have to, it's kind of like a competitive application. So nobody kind of funds you prior to the application. So that might be out-of-pocket expense. But then after you're awarded tax credits, then you can tap into a pre-development loan. Get that money reimbursed and pay for the rest of the costs that you need to get to construction. So I'd say it takes about, like I said, 30 to 50 to get to the show.
I have a question. So I always think of a developer as, somebody who has this vision, this dream. It is almost like a risk. Did you feel you were always a risk taker, or is it something like you had to grow into to sell your ideas?
Yeah, that's a great, question. But I don't know if I was a risk taker or not. I just jumped right into it. I fell in love with it. I liked it. And, I just tell folks, like a developer, it's really just a glorified project manager, right? You have all these experts around you that help you. You hire a lawyer, a contractor, your architect. Like everybody else that's needed to make a development happen, right? Accountants, consultants, consultants, or should say, tax credit consultants. You got all these people around you that's helping you to, but you still got to know enough about everything, because sometimes people make mistakes. I made mistakes. Stuff does cost you money, for sure, making mistakes. I think one of our second deals, I thought I knew a lot. I know we lost a couple $million on that. That kind of hurt it though. But man, it's just lesson learned. Like somebody said, lessons ain't free.
Yeah.
You definitely learned that on the second deal. And it's every deal, you definitely learn something new. But you got all these experts around you. We try to really find people who are relational, not transactional. We experience that a lot, especially in Vegas, man. Vegas is very transactional out there. So, you try to find these different people who want to be a part of the team and want to help you grow. And but it's definitely risky business for sure.
Anthony, can you tell us about one of your favorite local projects? One of the projects that brought you the most joy that you worked on here that we might recognize?
You know what? I think River West was my favorite one. That just opened maybe about, 3 months ago. So that's across the street on Pick and Save on East North Avenue. So we just actually got a major design award for that project. So 25 other projects got awarded too. So that was pretty cool. That project was pretty cool because it's 91 units. It's 20% market rate set aside in there. But then we have a 5,000 square foot food accelerator, which is meant to teach our residents how to cook and grow healthy food. We have a community garden to grow healthy food, and then use the food accelerator to teach them how to cook the healthy food, right? And have food educational programs. And then we partner with a few different food programs around the city of Milwaukee to come in and provide those classes. But the reason I think that was my favorite because it's going to consider almost like a high-income neighborhood, but the location, the residents were asking for affordable housing, and the previous, auditor was, very supportive. The city was supportive of the site, the location. We actually went out through a request for a proposal. I think 10 developers, 4 were from out of state, 6 were, in-state submitted for that proposal. And I was back in 2021. We actually were selected for that development, so it was pretty exciting just to, get that development, especially for some other experienced developers. That's my favorite one thus far, though. I know the one thing else I would say just quickly, someone always mentioned, there's 4 things I've been learning in life. Like, I think key to being successful. I always talk about these 4 things. Like no matter like what industry you in, like everybody is a salesperson. Like either you being sold or you doing the selling, right? So like, when we talk to government equity, I be selling, like, not like in a bad way, but either you being sold or you doing the selling. You gotta learn how to negotiate, right? Best girl don't win, or best guy don't win, or you get what you negotiate, right? You gotta learn the difference between good debt and bad debt. I think growing up, as a child, we didn't know about good debt and bad debt, right? We didn't know about just wild liabilities, right? Seriously, like I wish I would have understood that 20 years ago. And then you can learn not to pay taxes.
Right.
Like, can't be making money and giving the government 50% of your money. So, I always have to preach those 4 things. And something I've been learning over the last 10 years. And those 4 things has really been, helping us grow personally, professionally, and just always have to preach those 4 things. But that's all. I ain't really, talking too much though. Do check though.